These are DJI's cheapest drones, and if you're a beginner, which one do you get? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dive into the specs and I'm going to cross compare these exactly like for like on weight, size and things like that. So let's do this. They both have 4K 30 frames a second video recording, which means it's high resolution. The weight is below the legal limit of 250 grams. That's important to remember if you ever decide to go into commercial filming. They're both compact. The difference is the Neo has some prop guards. The Mini 4K does not, but you can buy those as well. Both have downward sensors, both GPS locked. What that means when they're GPS locked is that when it takes off, it will stay in position. You don't have to fully control it. And it's really good to start off with if you've never flown a drone. So you're not going to crash it to start off with. The Neo has a flight time around 12 minutes. The Mini 4K has a flight time around an incredible 30 minutes. This is important to remember and I'll come back to that later on. They both have return to home functions. That means if you lose connection with your controller or even your phone with regards to the Neo, it will come back to you and land where you took off. So be mindful about where you actually start flying from. And they both have quick shots and tracking. More about that in a minute as well. Looking at these, there's not much difference in the size. Even when you place the drone, the Neo drone, over the top, there's not much in regards to size. So they're both small, they're both compact. On the 4K one, you can fold the drone down so it's nice and small and compact. And then when you compare the size, it's actually a smaller footprint. But you can see that it's a bit thicker than the Neo. So those are some things to consider, especially if you're packing this along with some other kit. The other thing you want to consider, and this goes for both the drones, is they're quite susceptible to wind. So if you're outside, it's a windy day, this drone, the Neo, will be affected far more because the actual props on it are a lot smaller compared to the props on the 4K. You can see those are slightly bigger. There's 2 of them versus 3 of them. And because there's only 2 on the 4K drone, that means it's actually slightly quieter. Not by much, and it's something you shouldn't worry about. They both have tracking features. What that means is on your controller or on your phone, you can select something that'll track you. They will both follow you. They both got great quick shot modes where the drone will take off, circle around you, then come back. They both do that. The advantage on the Neo, you have some buttons on top of it. That means that you can select through those buttons for those quick shots opposed to doing it actually in the app or on the controller. Now, to the flight time, and this gets represented in the weight of them. On the bottom of this, the battery is very small. It is, as I said, 12 minutes worth of flight time on a good day. Compared to the Mini 4K, the battery's on the back and it is ever so slightly bigger. If you put those side by side, it's a bit more to it. But when you're going for this, and I've based this review on the combo edition, and what that means is that you get a couple of batteries and you get a controller. It's the only way to do a fair comparison because you can actually buy the Neo just by itself. 32 minutes of flight time for the 4K, 12 minutes. That means to match the 4K, you need a couple more batteries. This can stay in the air longer. Now, as an experienced drone pilot, the longer the drone can be up in the air, the better. You're going to get more shots. You can take it higher, you can take it further, but always keep it in line of sight because that's the drone code. And you don't have to land it so often. Unlike the Neo, you're flying it, especially if you put it into sports mode, you're flying it, and then all of a sudden, oh, I've got to bring it back, got to land it, shove another battery, and off it goes. The batteries are basically half the price compared to the 4K. So that's something to consider when you are flying drones. It's something many people don't take into consideration at all. They just think, oh great, one battery, fly it, land it, charge it. You lose the whole fun of flying drones. And there's one thing I haven't touched on yet, which the Neo has a massive advantage over, is that you don't need a controller with it. You can just buy the drone for £169 and you can take off from your hand, which is a game changer for all of the DJI drones. You can't take this one off from your hand, you will hurt yourself or even catch it. This will recognize your palm, take off and land. So it makes it more versatile if you're in rough terrain or you're on a boat in calm water. That will take off. This one will be a little bit more problematic. So I've gone over quite a lot of stuff, but what is the price? So for the combo edition, 2 batteries plus a controller for the Neo is £299. First, the Mini 4K at £400. You get more flight time. That is the only advantage of this drone. But this drone is far more capable of many things. Now let's get into that. This is a modular system. That means you can fly at FPV. That means first person view. That's where you see the guys with goggles on and it's like you're flying inside. You cannot do that with this one. So you've got a lot more capabilities of different ways of flying with this one and also catching it. So if it's not obvious what my conclusion or what drone you should go for in the first place, it will have to be the Neo in my opinion. Not only can you buy it just by itself, but it is a lot of fun to fly. You can get maybe some more cinematic shots with this one, but nothing unachievable with the Neo. The other thing you want to be aware of is how fragile these things are. This Neo, because it's got guards around it, it can take a pounding. I actually flew this into the side of a building, it bounced off it and landed in the grass, so I was quite lucky in that sense. But because it's plastic, it does flex ever so slightly. It's amazing. So if you hit something, it should be fine. Unlike this drone. Now, I have the Mini 3 Pro, which is a similar size, similar build, very placky. I was flying it backwards, filming an athlete, and smashed into a ramp. It went out of control and smashed to smithereens. If you hit this or crash it, it was more likely it will break apart compared to the Neo. So if you don't want to waste your money and be a bit more safe, if you do knock it around, the Neo will win on that score. So my final thought is go for the Neo if you get in for the first time into the drone world. It is a lot of fun. You cannot go wrong for the price point. So what do you think? Is the Neo for you or the Mini 4K? Comment below, love to have a chat. If you love this video, I think you might just love the 5 things I love about the Neo. How many times can I say love? Take care.